Hi all, this is Dr. J streaming live from Long Island, New York, where it's an absolutely glorious day in the mid-30s. That may sound a little chilly, but when the sun is out bright, can't be beat. So the weather was great. And I was in a good mood, so I put together a special biotech report, which is long overdue, with requests from you out there, your favorite biotech stocks, which happen to be mine, because I probably introduced them to most of you. In any event, we have a list of 14 biotechnology firms, companies with tremendous products in the pipeline, all of which have a terrific story. And Dr. J is bullish on all of them, but some of them more than others. And we're going to look at all 14. I don't own all 14, although I'd love to, but you have to pick and choose. We have to make our choices. At one time or another, I think I have owned all of them. So we're going to begin with, begin with a usual disclaimer that you should do your own due diligence, and Dr. J's opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. However, occasionally I do have some good ideas, as well as a few clunkers thrown in. It's your job to differentiate between the two, so study. Also, please tell your friends about the sensational Dr. J, who's been right on the money the last 4 weeks. I mean, it's uncanny. I know I was cold for a little while, but I started off doing this vlog, Hottest Blazes, like in June. And then I got a little cold for a month or so, and then Hottest Blazes again. So I guess I'm a Momo analyst. Does that make sense? Right now I got the Momo with me. I feel it. I feel it. All right, so let's get to the video charts. And of course, Dr. J would love for you to subscribe, write comments, give me that thumbs up. I think it's down in the lower right corner. I give you guys thumbs up all the time. All right, so let's get to the video charts because it's going to be a fairly long one. I'm going to try to keep each name to a couple of minutes, even if I can't say everything I'd like to say about the company and the chart. We have 14 to go through, so let's get at it. All right, so we're going to start by sharing screen. Here we go. I think, as always, we're going to go left to right. INO. INO is a vaccine maker, vaccines for cancer, vaccines for flu, vaccines up the wazoo. Dr. J owned INO years ago, believe it or not, as a bird flu play. I ran it up pretty nice from below $1 to a couple of bucks. I think I owned it a few times after that, not quite as successful as like the 4-bagger that I hit it with for the bird flu. So INO has explosive possibilities. Right now, the chart is kind of neutral. Let's take a look at the chart a little more carefully. I thought I drew in some support lines and so on, but I think it's pretty easy to simply draw in resistance and support. So let's do that. Okay, so that would be resistance and support. Perfect. So we're looking at a range between 450 and 510. We're in the lower trading end at 468. Should you buy it with a sell with a stop loss at 445? Should you buy it at the open on Monday and looking for 505? Not a bad trade, I don't think. You know, you lose, you have, in other words, you're willing to lose about 23 pennies, and you're looking to gain, if it's 468. What am I doing? It's not 468. It is, I'm very confused. Oh, I have the week, no, I have the daily. Oh, it's down here. You know, INO really confused me. I'm sorry, but look at what happened. If you had made that trade, you wouldn't have had a chance to get out at 445. You would have gotten out down here at 370. Holy mackerel, we dodged a bullet there, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the dangers of swing trading, by the way. You put in your stop loss, and if your stop loss is 445 here, you're going to be out at whatever the heck it is. The high of the day was 382. So that's a big difference from 445 to 382. Wow. All right, so right now, INO looks broken. It looks broken. I mean, it went through support right here at 375, but it managed to close above support on Friday. No, below support. But it nudged above, so it's hovering right around that support line. Is it worth a trade here? I think there's better things to do with your money, unfortunately. I was looking up here, and it was not a bad picture. Down here, it looks like not so good. So for now, we're going to put INO. I don't know what the heck happened, Dr. Kim, CEO of INO. But you must have had some disappointing news somewhere. I didn't check the fundamentals. I know they're in cervical cancer trials, and maybe something with that. I don't know. But, you know, Dr. Kim has been down before, and INO has always managed to hang in there and bounce back. So if you want to take a shot at it, because this CEO is a cunning man, a very clever fellow from UPenn, if you think it's worth a shot based on that, based on INO's vaccines, then take a shot and just put it away and forget about it, because I don't think it's a swing trade at this point. Let's take a look at ONCS. Well, I'm glad we came upon that picture of the chart, which shows the inherent dangers in swing trading. Of course, you could get a buyout, put in an order for take profit at $5 and wind up getting $9. So it works both ways. It's just when you lose, you feel like you know what, and when a good thing like that happens to you, you feel rather good about it. Yes, that makes sense. OncoSec trading range is 54 cents to 68 cents. We're now at 63 cents. It's just going about its merrily way, not doing much of anything, waiting for the next day to read out, I suppose. Again, I still have a ton of this, but I wouldn't recommend it here. I think if you want to take a shot at it, there's a chance to buy it lower, as I indicated, or a couple about a week ago when we looked at this last. I said didn't pay to buy at whatever it was, right around where it is, because I think you can always buy it cheaper, closer to that 54-cent support level. So I don't see the urgency here to be a buyer. All right. Although I am still very bullish. I like the story. I like Dan O'Connor, CEO. I like the Pisces trials prospects. I don't like the way the trial is being conducted using OncoSec after Keytruda. I would like to use the drug TiVo, I believe it's called. I would prefer to use it first, and then see how you do. We'll talk about that later again. All right, CUR. CUR is neural stem, I think is the name. Neural stem. I've been in this one as well. I'm not currently in it. I was in it like at $3. I don't remember if I made money or lost money. I hung around for a while in it, probably lost. At that time, it was in trials for ALS. I'm not sure if they still are. I haven't been really checking on the fundamentals, but what caught my eye was a big pop from a low of 25 cents to a recent high of 50 cents, 55 cents. That's more than double. So when a stock like this doubles, it catches my eye. Look at this beautiful ascending trend line. The body of the candles on Friday actually was fully above that trend line. I like this one. I think it's breaking out. I think it goes all the way up to the next resistance at 74 pennies. You could play this as a swing trade. And I guess if you're swinging, if you're a swinger, you're probably putting in a stop loss at 40 pennies. Okay, so I like this one based on Momo. I don't even know the latest fundamentals. All right, BCLI. It's in a similar, both are stem cell companies, neural stem and brain cell technologies, I think it's called, brain cell. Let's take a look at what it's called. Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics. I was close. They also are in the business of drugs for progressive neurological diseases like ALS. I haven't followed the fundamentals lately, but like Neuralstem, I've been in and out of this one, and I'm currently out of it. Let's take a look at whether I should contemplate going back in, whether you should contemplate a position in this. Made a high at about 372, relative high. Resistance support would be about 337, resistance about 372. It's trading in the middle of that range. It's trading at 398. I didn't move this over far enough. Come on. So it broke out. I was going to say if it breaks above 372, you probably should go after it, which wouldn't have been a bad idea. Now it's back, bounced off of that 372. Would have been an ideal time to go into it, but now notice it's at the upper end of its trading range. May have put in a double top here at about 404. Is this also 404? Yeah, so we have possible double top alert. So it might be time to take some profits if you're in it. If it breaks out above 404, it looks like the next serious, well, you have some resistance here at the high of the day on 9/19, which is 409. So if it breaks above 409, then we're looking at 4.25. We have a lot of successive points to take out along the way to new highs. What would new highs be? above 443, where there's solid resistance. So if it breaks above 404, I think there's a good chance it could test 443 again. The downside would be 375 or the support. So you might put a stop. If you went into this thing, if it breaks 404, you're looking for 442 with a stop at 370, something like that. So is it tradable? Probably. AST. AST is another stem cell company that inherited all the patents from GERN. GERN was considered once upon a time a stem cell company, besides its imetelstat for suppression of telomeres. Okay, so what does it look like? Well, it broke out with this great big candle on 129, big green candle here, and went up that same day to 122, came back down in the successive days all the way to 80 pennies, and now is trying to launch another move. So if you're interested, and I know Musketeer has a nice interest in this stock, buying here is not a bad idea if you think it's good, with a stop below 80 cents and a take profit all the way up here, let's say at about 115. So you could look to make 25 cents, risking about 12 cents, something like that. Not a bad bet. I like 2-to-1 shots, and that's what I'm giving you here. I'm not strongly recommending that trade, but it looks like a possibility. Do your own due diligence. Again, I'm not sure what they're into. I think it's spinal cord and other applications to stem cell. Spinal cord injury, I think, is a big one, but I could be wrong. OCX is a sister company of AST because both are owned by the same parent. I guess that makes them brothers or sisters. Both are partially owned by BTX, who's BioTime, the company that spun them both off. This one has a product. Let's see, what did I do again? I'm going blanking on this one. I think they have a medical test for, is it non-small cell lung cancer? A blood test as opposed to doing an actual biopsy of the lung. I think it made a tremendous run based on successful data. On 129, it went all the way up to $7. Closed at 591, and since then has come all the way back down to the 380 level. Hasn't come back down to the low of the day, which was 362. So if you want to take a stab on this one, it might not be a bad idea. I mean, you have basically a flag, although this flag is extended a little too long for my comfort. But if you want to take a shot at this, you could buy it here at the open, let's say, right around 380, with a stop loss at about 360, 20 cents. And put in take profit somewhere in the middle of this green candle. Might work out. Again, Musketeer is in this one. I think John would be better in tune to the prospects than me. GERN. This one is a shout out to all my fellow Geromaniacs, as we were dubbed by Adam Epstein. You know who I mean. I don't even like to say his name. I like choke on it. But in any event, many of us, including me, still have a substantial number of shares of GERN, and we're very depressed as it hits sub a buck, as it hit the sub-dollar level. But it came all the way back recently to a high of 151 with a close on Friday of 147. Is it a buy? I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of analyst recommendations at about $4. So that says something. I forget who these analysts are, if they're big names or not, probably not. But it was enough, I believe, for the pop, along with Alexandra Rizzo coming over from Janssen to lead the phase 3 trial, which should begin, I'm not sure when we complete the transfer of the trial from Janssen to GERN. Probably not for a while. Not for, I don't know, 10 months, whatever it is. And in any event, shout out to Port Royal, shout out to Musketeer, and all the other GERN maniacs. Okay, what to do here? If you're holding it, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be continuing to hold it. If you're looking for a starter position, I'd probably look to wait for a pullback to the 122 level, 125 level. All right, ATHX. And again, GERN, I think, is more of a, I mean, you could trade any stock and swing trade any stock, but I think it's more of a long-term hold, waiting for the phase 3 results, which are going to take a couple of years. So if you got the gumption to buy some GERN, put it away and forget about it, might not be a bad play. ATHX. Another one that you got to put away and forget about because we're waiting on data from Japan. Not sure about the timing of the master's trial, I think it's called, or treasure trial. We have a master's trial, I think is starting in America, and treasure is in Japan, or maybe it's the other way around, one or the other. We're partnering with Helios KK, Dr. Hardy, the CEO of the Japanese company, and Gil Van Brocklin, the CEO of ATHX, make a mighty duo. This little stem cell company is trying to come up with a treatment for ischemic stroke that can be administered for up to, I think, 36 hours, as opposed to the current standard of care, which is really like 1 day max. Okay, so if this works out, if it actually ultimately replaces the current standard of care, you're looking at a $10 billion company probably, and who knows what other indications. Right now, the market cap is, I don't know what it is. It's not 10 billion, it's not 1 billion. It must be about a few hundred million. So, I mean, you're talking many multiples if down the road this ultimately becomes the SOC, ischemic stroke. I like the chances, believe it or not. They redesigned a study that they had together with, I think it was Roche, which wasn't totally successful, but showed under certain constraints a nice success ratio. 1 year down the road, survival was greater than the placebo group for a subset of the data. And basically, the trial in Japan is using that subset. Some people call it cherry picking, but I say that's BS. It's not cherry picking. It's not like It's not like there was success for patients who had ischemic stroke every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. It was not cherry picking. CRMD. CRMD is a small biotech. What are they into again? They're into a rival drug, heparin, which of course has been around forever for use in end-stage renal disease. And it's a rather unpleasant subject for those who have that. And the idea is that this will make life somewhat better and avoid infection and so on that they would be otherwise prone to. The chart is pretty interesting. It came back down to 150 and bounced up into like a nice hammer on Friday. I like it. I like that candle. I also like the merging of all my lines right at that 150 level. So we have a descending trend line at 150. We have an ascending trend line at 150. And we have support at 150. So we have a whole bunch of things happening at 150. I think it's an excellent shot for a rebound here. I know we have essentially we have three black crows, but it's not really because this is such a small body that it violates the principle. I think we have a great chance for a rebound. So if you want to take a shot at a speculative biotech, you come in at the open or wait for a pullback to about $1.60, probably get it, and put it in a stop loss of 148, very tight, or mental stop, and hope that we make it all the way back to let's say 240. So you're looking for 240, 70-cent pop, 80-cent pop from 160, and you have a very tight stop loss. So you're looking for almost a miracle, but miracles happen. I've made it on trades like that. I've been successful. I mean, most of the time you lose those kind of trades where you're willing to give, like in this case, 10, 12, like if you come in at 160 to 148, you're willing to lose less than 10%. And you're looking to gain from 160 to 240, you're looking to gain 50%. So that's like a 4-to-1 shot. But I've hit them at better ratios than 4-to-1. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if you like those kind of odds and you're a gambling person, CRMD looks like a decent roll of the dice. I know it went down due to an essay article relating the feedback from the FDA on its device, and the CEO explained, I think some guidance was given, and maybe it was a little bit negative, that feedback, negative enough to spook the market, but it's gone down a lot, so maybe time to jump back in. SESN, for a tiny little biotech, is an institutional favorite. So it's widely owned by institutions. The float is small. The CEO gives a positive picture that there is a definite need for their bladder cancer drug that could forestall the need for bladder transplant. It's been on a nice tear, but this thing always seems to give back a little. So if you want to get in on this, I would wait for a pullback. I think you'll get it, and or maybe not. Well, I would wait for a pull. Like if you want to come in on Monday, this is interesting because it's also forming a triangle. So if it comes, if it shoots up, I might say to hell with looking for bargains and just jump right in and look to take out this high of 109. So it's your call, of course, but look at this triangle here. Forget this line. Let me just take this line out for a moment. Okay, so now you can see the triangle, and you could take this line out as well if you want. So we uncluttered the picture. Now we have a perfect triangle, and you can see that something's going to give. I suspect it goes to the upside. I mean, if it breaks to the downside, you could short the stock or take your profits if you own it. I don't short stocks, and I don't, especially biotech. But if you want to, if that's your game, then you could wait for a breakout either direction, go with the breakout, go in that direction. So SESN looks like a tradable stock either way. ATNM, I have a lot of shares of this one. It's not hard to have a lot of shares when it's 50, 55 cents or something like that. Let's see what it closed at. It closed at 54 cents on Friday. The Friday candle is a little upsetting because it was up much higher. I don't know how much higher. It was up to 56 cents. It's high enough. Gave back 2 pennies before the close to finish in a doji towards the bottom of the candle on Thursday, which was a solid red candle, which took us below the upward channel we had been in. So we're now out of the upward channel. Where do we find support? Well, one place is 50 pennies. And if you're less greedy and want to get in, anxious to get in, then it looks like 52 pennies would be the place to get to start a position. So let's draw that in. Of course, they have several drugs in the pipeline to pre-treat bone marrow so that you can have a bone marrow transplant for leukemia patients in particular. I guess those are the ones that need it. And it's an alternative to harsh chemotherapy that, if it's just as good, would be far preferable. All right. So is this a good stock to own? I think so. I think the prospects are excellent for approval ultimately down the road. NVAX. NVAX is a vaccine maker. They certainly have vaccines in the pipeline for bird flu, other flu. I've been in this one as a bird flu play along with INO. I think I made money on this one, if I recall correctly. Would I be a buyer here? Probably. They have a nice drug in the pipeline for, I don't remember the initials, baby virus or something or other. And the vaccination that they have would be administered to mommies that are pregnant who would normally pass it on to their progeny in newborn babies. And by getting inoculated, they would remove that threat. It's a serious virus for babies. It's not a serious virus for anybody else, I don't think. So should you be a buyer here? Well, it closed right at support, right at the 50, right at the trend line. If you want to take a shot at it and just wait for it to hit the upper trend line, that's not a bad idea. Or if you want to wait till it takes out the 244 level, that's a nice play. And where do you put in? Let's just draw some horizontal lines here so we can construct a hypothetical swing trade real fast. Well, obviously, this is resistance up here. There's also resistance here. There's also resistance wherever it hits the trend line. I didn't draw the horizontal very well. Let me just fix it. Okay, so we have some resistance up around the high of the day here, which is 244, and support, well, support right about there, I guess. I thought I'd hit horizontal. The horizontal and the vertical. There is a vertical line I could draw too, but I don't need to draw a vertical line. Okay, so right around $2. So if we go in at 213, we go out, we have a stop loss at 195. We have a take profit at, I don't know, maybe up around the top of this line, towards the top of this candle, this one here, 239, something like that. 239 is a gain of 26 cents, more than 10%. 195 is a loss of 18 cents. I like that trade. Novavax is a hot stock. It's been holding this trend line for such a long time. So there's an excellent chance it continues to move up along this trend line. Of course, it's had its dips below, but never separated from it. So it looks like it's worth a shot to me for a pop. And I like all the biotechs now. I like the IBB. I like the market. So if there's strength in the market, if there's strength in the IBB, while it's waiting for data readout or approval or whatever it's waiting for, it looks like it has it in its mind to go up. So it's probably a good swing trade prospect. BTX. The parent company, or it owns a lot of shares of OCX and AST. I think it still does. The GERN, long-term GERN holders own, some of them still own AST, OCX, and BTX because it was given to us. I think I sold every last share that was given to me, but it was given as a gift. It was spun, the intellectual property on stem cells was spun off to BTX. And I think the CEO of AST at that time was the old CEO of GERN, so they had full confidence. I think his name was Okama. His name is Okama, I believe. And they ran with it, AST did, and they're still going. And maybe something will come of their spinal cord research. I sure hope it does. I mean, that would be nice. And whatever else they're into. I root for all biotechs, whether I own them or not, because they're great for humanity. We want biotech to be successful. Now, technology, you could argue, is great for humanity, but is it? Not all technology is. Sometimes I think we're better off if without it. We would be better off today if the Never was a computer invented. For those of you who are old enough to remember pre-computer days, you know how I learned addition, subtraction, and so on an abacus. Now, that doesn't make me as old as the Indians. Don't kid yourself. On an abacus, physical beads that show tens and ones and fives. It was a wonderful way to learn. It was visual. I don't know, the teaching methods today and mathematics are suspect from what I've seen. Anyway, we're in a downward channel on BTX, but we had a nice big candle, probably the same day OCX had its big candle, I'm guessing, right in here on 125. We're down ever since. You want to take a shot at going long, I'd wait for another little pullback to like this area in here. The low of the day was 107. You look for 109 to go in, and you go out at 96 cents if you stop loss at 96 cents. So 109 to 96 cents, it's only 7 pennies. So maybe you go a little bit more. 109 to, wait a second, 109 to 96 cents is okay. It's 13 pennies. And then you're looking for a nice move up, say to the close of the day, 139 for the close of the big green candle. So 109 to 139 is 30 pennies, 10 pennies on the downside. That's nice odds, 3 to 1 odds. I'll take it. I might take it. XXII. This is a request by Steve. So shout out to Steve. Now, Steve, I don't know if you went into this one when I gave my report on it. I thought I was buying it in the 220s, and the order never went through. I wound up buying it in the 235 area. So, and you've asked me a number of times to give you a resistance level, a possible take profit level. I'm looking at the weekly here. It's just a clearer picture. So it made a higher low right here. My cursor would move over on 128, a higher low of 210. And it hasn't made a higher high yet. So the resistance is clearly 288. So that's 33 cents up from here. So if you want to put in a take profit, 285, something like that, I would think. And if I were entering a trade today, on Tuesday, I would probably put in my stop loss at, well, just below here at about $2. So if I bought at 255, I'm risking 55 cents on the bottom end to make 30 cents. I don't like that setup. But, that's just me. I don't like to give odds. I like to get odds on swing trades. I'd like to get odds usually of at least 3 to 2. I could live with 2 to 1. 3 to 1, I salivate. 4 to 1 is long shot territory, but I've hit enough of them. So, if you're swing trading, you want to get odds. You don't want to give odds. So I think this is best left for those longs who think enough that it's going to start taking out successive highs all the way up. I mean, if it gets approval for its, what do they call it? Very low nicotine cigarette. It's looking for approval to be a minimum risk tobacco product. What's the initials? MRTP. For some reason, I think there was another letter at the end. I'm not sure. But in any event, if the FDA grants it MRTP status, then It's XXII can say this is very low risk, unlike traditional tobacco, and a lot of people might gravitate to this cigarette. They also have other specialty cigarettes, very high nicotine for the tobacco smoker who wants a charge, more of a charge, but very low tar. It's supposedly the lowest ratio of tar to nicotine in the industry. So they have interesting products. I like this company. I've been in it before. I've made money before. I think I'm going to make money again. Am I going to sell it to 85? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I don't have a set swing trade number in mind. I might actually add a little more at this point and just look to keep it. I think long-term play, it might be good. So I constantly reassess, but as of now, what I plan on doing is playing it by ear. I'm going to wing this one. I mean, we're also coming to a triangle here. Well, not really. More likely coming to a triangle here, which we should break out of to the positive. We're also coming to a triangle here in a couple of days or in a week. Well, April 1, April Fool's Day. So I'd like to see it break out above the descending line. I want to shake that. If we can go above this descending trend line, I'd become very bullish on it from the chart. I'm bullish on it from the fundamentals, though. The chart doesn't look bad. I hope I answered your question, Steve. I'm going to stop sharing. Again, write comments with all your requests and write other kind of comments, write any kind of comment at all. I don't seem to have my picture, which gets me very nervous. So let me start my salutations by saying shalom, sayonara, au revoir, arrivederci, hasta luego, ciao. This has been Dr. J streaming live from Long Island, New York. Please subscribe, hit the G. Take care, gang. Bye. Okay, I forgot to hit stop broadcast. I'm very, very sorry.